The void of space stretched endlessly, dark and silent, except for the distant glow of a small lone ship drifting through an uncharted sector. It was a human vessel, no larger than a standard freighter, and from the looks of it, completely defenseless. No visible weapons, no escort, no distress signals. Captain Vorak of the Crimson Claw pirate fleet leaned back in his chair, a cruel grin spreading across his reptilian face. Well, well, what do we have here? His crew, a collection of merciless raiders from across the galaxy, laughed as they observed the ship on their scanners. A human transport, one of his lieutenants growled. No defenses, no backup. It's like they're begging us to take it. Vorak's eyes gleamed with greed. Human ships usually carried valuable cargo, technology, medicine, and sometimes even military supplies. But the real prize, humans themselves. The slave markets paid fortunes for them. Fragile, weak creatures, but their intelligence made them valuable workers. Bring us in close, Vorak ordered. Prepare the boarding party. As the pirate vessel, Dagger's Bite, closed in, the human ship didn't react. No evasive maneuvers, no attempt to communicate. It simply continued drifting, as if unaware of the danger approaching. That was odd, but Vorak wasn't concerned. It only made their job easier. The pirates latched onto the human ship, locking their docking clamps in place. A dozen heavily armed raiders stood by the airlock, weapons at the ready. They expected fear. They expected scrambling crew members begging for mercy. The door hissed open. Darkness. Silence. The pirates hesitated. Where was the crew? The emergency lights flickered, casting eerie red glows through the corridors. The ship felt abandoned. Move in, Vorak barked. His men rushed forward, scanning every corner. The air was stale, the temperature just a little too cold. Vorak's instincts tingled with unease. Something was off. He had raided dozens of ships before, but this didn't feel right. A sharp clang echoed from deep within the ship. The pirates froze. What was that? One of them muttered. Vorak narrowed his eyes. The sound wasn't random. It was deliberate. Another noise, closer this time. A faint scraping, like metal dragging against metal. Check the cargo hold, Vorak ordered. The crew must be hiding there. The pirates split into teams, advancing cautiously. The deeper they went, the more wrong everything felt. The ship wasn't just empty. It felt watched. Then, the first scream tore through the silence. One of the pirates vanished, yanked into the shadows before anyone could react. Blood sprayed across the wall. Ambush, a raider shouted, firing wildly into the darkness. Nothing. Vorak's heart pounded. He had walked into a trap. The human ship wasn't alone. It was hunting them. Panic spread through the raiders like wildfire. The corridor, once a simple path to their riches, had become a tomb. Blood smeared the walls where their comrade had stood just moments before. The air felt heavier now, as if the ship itself had come alive, whispering unseen threats in the shadows. Captain Vorak clenched his jaw. Regroup, he bellowed, his voice cutting through the fear. His men scrambled to form a defensive line, their weapons aimed in every direction. Something was here, something they couldn't see. Thermal scanners, Vorak barked. One of his men fumbled with a device, eyes wide with fear. Sir, I'm picking up movement. Fast, but his voice trailed off, confusion flickering across his reptilian face. But what? Vorak growled. The raider hesitated. It's not human. The word sent a chill through the crew. Before Vorak could respond, another scream erupted from the back of the formation. One of the raiders was yanked backward, disappearing into the darkness with a sickening crunch. A shower of blood splattered across the floor. Chaos. The pirates fired wildly, their plasma bolts scorching the walls, but hitting nothing. Vorak snarled, pushing past his panicked men. He would not let his prize slip away. Find them. The pirates pushed forward, their footsteps echoing through the eerie silence. Every shadow seemed to move. Every corridor twisted into something unfamiliar. Then they found the first body. The missing raider lay sprawled on the ground, his throat slit cleanly, almost surgically. There was no sign of struggle, no wild claw marks or brutal wounds. Whoever, or whatever, had killed him had done it with precision. Vorak felt something he hadn't felt in years. Fear. This was not a panicked crew trying to defend their ship. This was a calculated execution. A sudden hiss filled the air. A vent cover slammed open, and something dropped from above. A figure, moving faster than any of them could react. A blur of black armor and cold steel. The first pirate didn't even have time to scream. A blade sliced across his throat in a single fluid motion. The raiders fired, but the figure was gone, slipping back into the shadows. Vorak's heart pounded. This wasn't a frightened human crew. This was something else. Something trained. Then a voice cut through the darkness. Calm. Cold. You shouldn't have come here. Vorak's blood ran cold. The hunt had just begun. Vorak gritted his teeth, forcing himself to stay calm. His men were breaking, fear spreading like a virus. The ship was supposed to be an easy target, yet now it felt like a death trap. Form up, he barked, trying to regain control. We are not running from shadows. But deep down, he knew. This was no ordinary crew. A sharp metallic clang echoed through the corridor. The sound of something being sealed shut. One of the raiders rushed to a control panel, panic in his voice. Captain, the ship's systems. They're locking us in. Vorak's eyes narrowed. This wasn't a battle. This was a hunt, and they were the prey. He turned sharply. Find the nearest airlock. We're getting off this cursed ship. A sudden click filled the air. Then, a hissing sound. One of the raiders coughed, dropping to his knees. Another staggered backward, his gun slipping from his grasp. The air itself seemed to turn thick, heavy, toxic. Gas. Someone screamed. Vorak activated his breathing filter, but he knew it was too late for the others. One by one, his men collapsed, their bodies twitching before going still. A faint sound drifted through the smoke. Footsteps, slow, deliberate. Through the thinning haze, Vorak saw them. Not scared humans, not a desperate crew. They were soldiers, silent, armed, waiting. A figure stepped forward, clad in black combat armor. No insignia, no name, just cold, calculated purpose. Vorak reached for his weapon, but a sharp pain tore through his leg. He collapsed, his vision blurring as he hit the ground. A tranquilizer dart. As the darkness closed in, he heard the soldier's voice. Calm, ruthless. You chose the wrong ship. Then, everything faded to black. Vorak's head throbbed as he drifted back into consciousness. His body felt heavy, his limbs restrained. A dim red light flickered overhead, casting eerie shadows across the cold metal walls. He tried to move. Chains. Tight. Unbreakable. A deep sense of dread settled in his gut. Where was he? The last thing he remembered was gas filling the ship, his crew collapsing. Those soldiers emerging from the shadows. Now he was alone. The sound of boots echoed in the room. Vorak forced his groggy eyes open. A figure stood before him, arms crossed. Human, but not weak, not afraid. The man was clad in black armor, a small emblem barely visible on his chest, a symbol Vorak didn't recognize. Military, special forces, intelligence. The human finally spoke, his voice eerily calm. Do you know where you are? Vorak growled, pulling against his restraints. Release me. The human didn't react. He simply pulled up a small tablet, tapping a few buttons. A holographic image flickered to life. A map of the raider fleet. Vorak's blood ran cold. You think we didn't know about you? The human continued. You've attacked dozens of ships, taken hundreds of slaves. You thought we wouldn't notice. He leaned in, his eyes like ice. We noticed. Vorak clenched his jaw, masking his fear. You're wasting your time, human. My crew will come for me. The man let out a slow chuckle. Your crew. He tapped the tablet again. The hologram shifted, showing something else. A fleet of wreckage. Raider ships, destroyed. Vorak's breath caught in his throat. Your crew's not coming, the human said, his voice void of emotion. We took care of them the moment you stepped foot on our ship. Vorak's heart pounded. His crew, gone. How? The human leaned forward. You raiders think human ships travel alone because we're weak. The truth is, he smirked, we don't need help. Vorak felt his stomach twist. This was no ordinary transport. This was bait. A trap. And he had walked right into it. The human tapped the tablet once more, bringing up something new. Coordinates. Vorak recognized them instantly. The location of the raider stronghold. His throat went dry. How? The human's expression darkened. Because you just gave it to us. Vorak froze. He hadn't spoken a word. Hadn't given away any information. The human smiled. You don't need to talk. We already know. The room suddenly felt much colder. And for the first time in his life, Vorak realized he wasn't the predator. He was the prey. Vorak's breathing was ragged. His mind raced as he processed the terrifying truth. The humans had everything. His fleet was gone. His crew was dead. And now, they had the location of the raider stronghold. How? He hadn't said anything. He hadn't betrayed his people. Yet somehow, the humans knew exactly where to strike. His captor smirked, as if reading his thoughts. We didn't need you to talk, the human said, tossing the tablet onto the metal table. Your ship's systems were cooperative. The moment you boarded us, our eye was inside yours. Vorak's blood ran cold. They had hacked his ship. We know where your kind hide, the human continued. And by now, so does our fleet. Vorak struggled against his restraints. You think you can take on the raider clans alone? He spat. You don't understand what you're dealing with, human. The soldier tilted his head slightly, amusement flickering in his cold eyes. Oh, we understand perfectly. You see, this isn't the first time we've done this. A sick feeling settled in Vorak's gut. They always think they're the first, the human mused. The first to raid our ships. The first to take humans as slaves. The first to try and make us bow. He leaned in close, his voice turning to ice. None of them are around anymore. A sudden blaring alarm shattered the moment. Vorak's head snapped toward the ceiling as the red lights pulsed urgently. The human checked his comms, then grinned. Ah, it started. Vorak's stomach twisted. The attack. Wait. Vorak yanked hard at his chains, but it was useless. Listen to me. You don't know what you're doing. That base, there are thousands of raiders there. If you attack. The soldier's smirk never faded. We know. A screen flickered to life beside them, showing a live feed of the raider stronghold. Vorak saw the familiar asteroid base, ships moving in and out of its docking base, a fortress of war, armed to the teeth. Then the screen shifted, and Vorak's heart stopped. Dozens of human warships, already there, already attacking. Explosions tore through the raider defenses. Fighters scrambled in a panic, trying to respond. But they were too slow, too unprepared. A single human dreadnought moved to the center of the battle. Vorak barely had time to read its name before its forward cannons lit up the darkness of space. HFY Retribution. A deafening explosion ripped through the base. One of the main hangars collapsed inward, swallowing entire squadrons of raiders in a wave of fire. Vorak's breath came in short gasps. He knew that base. He had lived there, fought there. It was a fortress that had survived wars against empires, pirate factions, and mercenary legions. But it wasn't surviving this. The human soldier looked at him with something almost like pity. It's already over, Vorak. The feed flickered again. Evacuation shuttles were trying to flee. Raider commanders, mercenaries, desperate survivors, all running. But the humans were waiting for them. One by one, the escaped ships vanished in flashes of fire. Vorak's mouth went dry. He had thought humanity was weak. He had thought this ship was easy prey. Now he realized the truth. Humanity wasn't just strong. They were ruthless. And now they were burning his entire world to the ground. Vorak sat frozen, his eyes locked on the screen as his world collapsed in fire. Everything he had known was gone. The asteroid base, once an impenetrable fortress, was now nothing more than burning wreckage. The mighty fleets of the Raider clans were shattered, their ships torn apart like scrap metal. Escape pods floated uselessly in space, their distress signals ignored. The human soldier beside him didn't gloat. He didn't mock. He just watched as the destruction unfolded. That terrified Vorak more than anything. There was no joy in this slaughter, only cold, calculated execution. You don't have to kill them all," Vorak stammered, his throat dry. "There are non-combatants down there, engineers, families." The soldier's expression didn't change. "And how many non-combatants did your kind spare when you raided human ships?" Vorak had no answer. On the screen, the HSF Retribution unleashed another wave of firepower. A chain reaction of explosions rippled through the asteroid, tearing through fuel reserves, weapons caches, and docking bays. Pieces of the once mighty base drifted into the void, silent and lifeless. Vorak's heart pounded. This is genocide. The human finally turned to face him, his cold stare drilling into Vorak's soul. "No, this is justice." A sharp beep from the soldier's wrist communicator broke the silence. He tapped the device, listening. "Understood." He glanced at Vorak. "Looks like it's time to decide what to do with you." Vorak swallowed hard. "You can't." The soldier cut him off with a glare. "You think you're special, that you deserve mercy after everything your kind has done." He leaned in, voice low and dangerous. "You burned human ships. You stole from our colonies. You took our people as slaves. And now, you beg for mercy." Vorak's breath hitched. The soldier straightened and gestured toward the screen, where the last remnants of the Raider fleet were being hunted down one by one. "We don't leave threats behind, Vorak. We don't forgive. And we never forget." Vorak felt a shiver crawl up his spine. He thought of all the times he had laughed at human weakness. Their mercy, their hesitation. He had mistaken it for fear. But now he understood. Humans weren't merciful because they were weak. They were merciful because they chose to be. But when that mercy ran out, there was nothing left but fire. The soldier tapped his communicator again. "Command, what's the status of the operation?" A voice crackled through. "All primary targets eliminated. Secondary sweep underway. No survivors detected." Vorak's chest tightened. "No survivors." The soldier turned back to him. "That just leaves you." Vorak's mind raced. He was the last one left. The last of the Raiders. If they killed him, his people's legacy would be erased. "I can help you," he blurted out. "I have information." The soldier tilted his head. "You think we need it?" He tapped the screen, where human ships moved methodically, ensuring no escape routes remained. "We already know everything we need to." Vorak felt the walls closing in. There was no bargaining, no escape. The soldier exhaled slowly. "But maybe there's something you can do." He leaned forward. "Tell me, Vorak, how far are you willing to go to survive?" Vorak's breath came in short, ragged gasps. He had seen death before. He had caused death before. But never like this. Never so complete. The asteroid base was gone. The Raider fleet was nothing but wreckage drifting in the void. No survivors. No chance of rebuilding. The Raider clans were erased from existence. And now he was the last one left. The human soldier stood before him, expression unreadable. "You have two choices, Vorak. Vorak's hands clenched into fists. You're giving me a choice. The soldier nodded. We don't believe in pointless killing. Unlike you. Vorak swallowed. What? What are my choices? The soldier gestured to the viewport. One option is simple. We space you. Quick. Painless. His voice was cold. Final. The second option. You work for us. Vorak's eyes widened. Work for you? Doing what? The soldier gave a slow, grim smile. Helping us hunt down the rest. The words hit like a plasma blast to the chest. Vorak staggered back. The rest. You raiders weren't the only ones who thought humans were weak. The soldier leaned in, voice lowering. But now that the galaxy knows the truth, some are running, hiding. We need someone who knows their tricks, their hideouts, someone who can help us wipe out the rest of your kind. Vorak's stomach twisted. You want me to betray my own people? The soldier tilted his head. Your people are dead, Vorak. You burned any loyalty you had when you attacked us. Vorak shook his head violently. No, no, this isn't fair. You can't. The soldier's voice turned razor sharp. Fair. Was it fair when your kind raided defenseless colonies, when you slaughtered families, when you burned human prisoners alive for sport? Vorak felt his legs go weak. He had never thought about it. To him, humans had always been nothing but easy prey. Weaklings. Now he stood before them, completely helpless. You have 1 minute, the soldier said. Choose. Vorak's mind raced. If he refused, he died. If he accepted, he would become a traitor. But humans didn't offer second chances. He looked at the wreckage outside. His home, his people, gone. He closed his eyes, and when he opened them again, he had made his choice.